beautiful butterflies flying around, chasing one another. And it's a little bit of this journey of level 1 and level 2 of the ISTA trainings together. Just landing, now feeling the spaciousness and the energy to share some of the journey, and to really honor all that process. I'm gonna do it in a series of videos, sharing what has been coming up for me. I think that's the best way, whenever we share our experience, we are putting out there a bit of wisdom. That's why I feel, knowledge is just a part of it, but it becomes wisdom when we go with it through the filter of our experience. Noticing these days how everything has been around a few topics, and I would like to unfold them a little bit more. One of them that has been pretty present along the 2 weeks, but more especially after the first week, and now how it's being integrated. Well, I see that it's lots of mosquitoes. The thing of desires, fears, wants and needs. And I was just speaking with a friend about that and reading some interesting insight on these astrologic readings for the week. There has been a big invitation on owning our desires, recognizing them, acknowledging them, which is amazing. But it's interesting to observe how I'm kind of coming back to that place where I was when I started the training. Of course, it's not the same place, because something that I'm noticing is that I'm now finding a new center in the new field of awareness and exploration that all the experience has brought me. So this new center is not the same, and I'm not landing into the same space. Definitely a lot of things change. But around the thing of desire, and I own that it may be my own field of illusion as well, because it's my experiences after all, and the way I'm experiencing whatever comes, is that sometimes, although it's really interesting to own and reclaim our desires and allow them to be there, because desires are an energy that drives us through life. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have the desire of self-realization, of growth, of peeling layers, of being, and living life to the fullest. Yet sometimes it's interesting to observe and fine-tune when desires are only coming from one of our centers. When I say centers, I'm speaking about our body, our heart, our mind. We could include our sexual center as well, and even our gut feeling, our intuition. And at least in my experience, when I allow my desires to be unfolded, they normally come, and that's what I see, and I see in some others. So maybe, I can risk making a small generalization, that sometimes they come from one of these centers. So therefore, they are kind of narrowing our vision towards only one part of experience, when actually most probably there's something already there that can meet our desires and our needs. And this is where needs come. We have several needs in this field of sexuality, relationships, community. There's a lot around love, affection, expressions of affection, physical touch, togetherness, connection. So how do we meet those needs? And the thing about desires is that sometimes they are, as I said, driven by one of these centers, and we get so fixed in that, especially when it comes from the mind. I want it this way, I want this, or I want this person to meet this need that I have of, I don't know, intimacy or affection, physical touch. And sometimes we can get, or I speak for myself, I can get so fixed and kind of obsessed with that idea that automatically I shut myself down from the possibility of experiencing getting that need met, whatever that is, where it's already flowing and happening. Yeah, and therefore reducing my experience of life, which sometimes is good, going through a desire and a want, and it's good when you can express it and you get a yes. It's so rewarding and so fulfilling and sometimes so fun. And when you get a no, well, it's an invitation maybe to go back to the need. Okay, what's the need and where is it coming from, my expression of this desire? Is it coming from a needy place? When I say needy place or neediness, I'm speaking about uncentered expressions of these needs, like we are kind of in this craving, therefore creating some pulls, energetic pulls towards someone or a situation that ultimately create exactly the opposite of what we want. And actually also inviting us to fine-tune on this and open ourselves to other possibilities. And I think for sure you felt it, when you get super focused on a way that you want things to happen, and the universe has the perfect design for you to get your needs met and your growth experience. And then you can choose always, because we are free beings, sovereign beings, and we get the chance to choose every time. So we're given the chance of getting these needs met. The thing is, am I able to let go expectations and attachments on the way that I want things to be, to actually open myself to the entire spectrum of possibilities that I'm given? For me, it has been interesting, a nice dance, because around connections and relationships, sometimes not going through the process of following a desire, what's behind a desire? There's a fear, and behind a fear there's a desire. So it's the fear of maybe getting rejected or abandonment, or not following that drive. And yeah, for me it's interesting. I noticed that perhaps because of that fear, I was allowing myself to receive whatever was open. And this is another thing, allowing yourself to receive what's there. Yet somehow noticing a part of me wasn't fully open. So it was interesting to go into that space of, okay, I'm gonna follow with this desire. And it's interesting when you get a yes, what can happen. And of course, for me, connecting, if you've seen the other videos, there comes this thing of patterns and relationships, and what is the need? Okay, if I need nourishment, containing, nurturing, soft, tender, joyful experience with Shakti, from Shakti and with a woman, where do I get that? And I open myself to that. And what am I looking for when I'm following thrill, excitement? How does my body feel? What's coming up for me? What's there? It's really interesting to see where we get to, depending on where we're coming from. I do really appreciate the thing of expressing desires, because it invites you to be clear on your communication, on what you want, what you need. And it's interesting, and I feel I have a need of, touch, to then express, okay, I have this need and I want someone to get it met, and I just show up. It's interesting to see what happens. Yet, as I said in the beginning, for me, it's very important to fine-tune and see where the desires are coming from, because otherwise, aren't we seeking desire just by the sake of desire? We are beings designed to follow and pursue pleasure. And is that the end of it all? Is there anything else? And yeah, can also link to the fact of, well, in relationships, to this idea of like falling in love or into a relationship and growing into love or growing into a relationship. And personally, I think and I feel that for me, growing into a relationship and into love, it's something that makes much more sense. And it's like, fruit trees, they take a time to root, to grow, and they will bring forth amazing, juicy fruits for many, many, many seasons. And sometimes the falling in love, it's a little bit like, these deep, intense experiences that happen a lot, especially traveling and especially in settings like tantric communities, spaces, and people that's pretty much open to experiencing. And that's interesting, to acknowledge that it's a playground or a lab. And sometimes you may be surprised and you may find a partner, the perfect partner for your life purpose. And sometimes we are just supporting each other in our growth, in our experiencing, in being. And sowing the seeds of those trees that will grow further ahead on the road, and we don't really know. So I wanted to share just a bit of that. One of the themes and topics that have been with me these days on this integration phase, among many other things. And every time I have a conversation with someone around this, some more things pop up, but I felt that this was like the right moment to start sharing what came for me. I'm so grateful for the process, the 2 weeks. And yeah, level 1 was about this big reclaim on power and focus and integration, divine feminine, divine masculine, and yeah, living life to the fullest, and a lot of celebration, a lot of growth, a lot of strength, a lot of beauty, a lot of juiciness, a lot of fun, and lots of tools to connect, to relate with ourselves, to then do it with others. And that's something I really appreciate, and that's something I was looking for. For some it may have been a bigger stretch than for others, but it's an experience that I totally and highly recommend. Personally, for me, was a really wake up into like, this is the work that I want to do, this is the path that I want to follow, this is the message that I want to keep on spreading. It totally connects my life so far in these elements around sexuality, shamanism, spirituality, connection to the earth, community, and what I feel that I can offer and I'm here for, holding space, supporting. So it really brought that for me, and many, many more gifts that slowly will fall into place as fruits that are ripe, falling from the trees. Level 2 was a bit of an intense ride around dying and being reborn, consciously dying. For me, dying to patterns again, around relationships, my way of interacting with myself, the world, women, what happens with men, having such a longing for brotherhood connection, and a very big longing also for that partner to co-empower, co-support each other on the process of being and living life to the fullest. So it was really interesting to observe. Those are things that I will unfold on future videos around polyamory, open relationships, around fears too, divine masculine, divine feminine, and for sure more things. So thank you for taking some time to listen to this video, and keep in tune to get some more updates. And I'm happy to share all this, and hopefully it's being useful for you in your life or inspiring. I'm open to receive reflections, revealings, inspirations, whatever is bubbling inside of you. That's also part of my gifts that I'm happy to share, and I'm really happy also to create an exchange that could support each other in our life's journey. Now I'm getting myself ready to go to Bali to do level 1 there, hopefully as an assistant, to really go a layer deeper and get a big refreshment on all these tools to come back to my community in Malta and share it, and from there spread it all over. Thank you so much, and another day flying with lots of gifts here in Phangan after a wonderful rain, coconut land, and a land of love, of truth, of going deep, flying high, and finding balance that's not necessary in the middle. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, good.